considered this stranger he had only known for 6 years, and he considered her a sister more than me. It was just awful.
Hey, beautiful, 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 beautiful angel. Love your imperfections, every anger. Tomorrow comes and goes before you know.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Kel's Place. I hope everyone is good today. So finally doing a video. So I think I'm finally getting back on this whole track of uploading twice a week kind of thing. So I'm most likely going to be uploading on either Monday or Tuesday to Thursday or Friday. So I'm most likely never going to upload on Wednesdays. But also, again, just because I work in retail, it depends on my schedule. It depends what days I can have time to upload. But for sure, it's going to be 2 times a week. And as time goes on, it will probably turn into 3 times a week. So anyways, I am back with another video. So I told you guys last time that I was most likely going to be doing a challenge for today. Not going to happen. So the plan is that me and my best friend Amber, who you all know by now, she and I are going to do the drunk trivia challenge. So we're gonna drink, we're gonna get drunk, and then we're gonna ask each other dumb questions, and we're gonna be at our house, and we're gonna do it from there, just because I'm not allowed to drink in my own house, just because of my family and stuff, and I want to respect that. So I'm allowed to drink at her house, so we're gonna do that together, and we're gonna film it. So hopefully that goes well. So unfortunately, Amber lost her ID, so she wants to help me pay for the alcohol, blah, blah, blah. So long story short, it's gonna take about a week or 2 for us to actually do that challenge, and then we actually have to find a day to do it. And then hopefully sometime this next month in March, we are actually hopefully gonna plan on going to Disneyland. Hopefully it works out. I actually have to pay a lot of bills right now, so let's hope that goes well. Yeah, so hopefully we can go to Disneyland this month, and if not this month, then for sure, we're gonna go in April. The reason I say because of now it might change only because one of our friends just left work, and now that she's left, we're kind of low on staff, and we're gonna have to be working a lot of hours now, and I don't think we're allowed to now get the same day off, which would be it would be during the week, but I don't think it's gonna happen most likely, unless my manager allows it for some crazy reason, which would be very surprising. But we may go to Disneyland this month, or we may go to Disneyland at the beginning of April. So either way, we are going to be going to Disneyland within the next, hopefully, 6 weeks. So, and then we'll be doing a vlog on Disneyland as well. Anyways, so that's for the challenge, for like the whole drunk trivia challenge. So sorry about all that. I promise it's gonna be in the next few videos. As for this one's just kind of a out of the blue video. Why not talk about it? Why not get my story out here? Maybe some people can relate, maybe some people can't relate. I'm not really sure, honestly. I know people have been wondering about this story. People have been curious about it because, you know, a lot of you, my fans have been wondering what happened with my brother, and so I wanted to upload this video. So this is my video of what it's like growing up with a brother who pretty much doesn't love you. So having a sibling who doesn't care about me, who doesn't love me, blah, blah, blah. So now I guess I should start with how my family tree works. So I have an older brother. Now, like a biological brother. So my older brother is named Ricky. He is named after our dad, Richard. We have the same dad, not the same mom. So when my dad was 20 years old, my dad got his girlfriend, Tony, at the time pregnant. Tony became pregnant with my brother, and they were really young, and they had the baby, and they were together at the time. But yeah, they were together at the time, but I think it was before my brother was born, or maybe shortly after my brother was born, that they did not work out as a couple, and my dad had his visitation rights, and he had to start paying child support once my brother was born. So I am 24, as all may of you know, and my brother, Ricky, is, let's see, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So he is 32 years old. He will be 33 this July 9th. So he'll be 33. We are 8 years apart. And I will be 25 in August. Now, so So my dad met my mom when Ricky was only 4 or 5 years old, from what I'm understanding from what my mom has told me. And so my mom obviously dated my dad when he had a kid, and a lot of people judged my mom for it, but my mom really didn't mind. My mom loved my brother very much. She, it was her stepson. Well, she hadn't married my dad yet, but she really cared for my brother. And then obviously later on, my parents, they got married, and then when Ricky was 8 years old, I was born, which is why we were 8 years apart. So there was a big age gap. However, from what I've understood, now this is my side of my story. Now, Ricky obviously may have a different side. I highly doubt it, because I feel like it is the whole same story, because he has agreed with me that he's not there for me and he's not in my life, but the way he thinks things on how things happen might be different. But this is my version of the story, and this is why I don't think that me and my brother are not close. I think it might be the reason. I could be completely wrong. I'm not too sure. So yeah, when my dad told my brother that when my dad told my brother that my mom was pregnant, Ricky was really upset. He did not want a baby sister, unfortunately, oddly enough. And he didn't want a family in general, because he didn't want to lose my dad. That was the most important thing to Ricky, is that he didn't want to lose my dad. He didn't want to share my dad. He just wanted to be an only child. But when I was born, Ricky, from my parents have said, especially my mom, Ricky, obviously, he fell in love with me as a little sister. He loved having me as a sister. He was really not excited at first, but then once he saw me, my mom said he kind of fell in love, changed his mind. He loved being a big brother. It was really awesome to him. And it went on from there. And then my parents were only married for 4 years. So the first 4 years of my life, I loved my brother from the very, very, very beginning. I loved my brother to death. I thought he was an amazing kid. I looked up to my brother. I thought he was strong. I thought he was, handsome. I thought, I loved my brother. What little sister would not love their older brother, right away? Especially because he was the man in my life besides my dad. Those were the first 2 men in my life, was my brother and my dad. And I totally loved my brother. I would do everything for him. Even though I was little, I just want to be around him all the time. I wanted to be around him every single day, all the time, 24/7. I just wanted to be around my brother. That's all I really wanted, was my big brother. And at first, Ricky was obviously loving it, because he loved having me as a little sister. And this is when my parents were still married. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then, he loved having me as a sister. I loved having him as a brother. We were really close when we were kids, when my parents were married. He'd always, when he was visiting with his mom, I'd miss him. Whenever he'd call my dad to say hi, I'd get on the phone with him, be like, "Hi, Ricky," blah, blah, blah. And he'd be like, "Hi, Cal," He would just love talking to me on the phone. He loved playing with me. He adored me, as a sister when we were kids. And then unfortunately, not sadly though, my parents got divorced, and when I was 4 years old, almost 5, and that meant that I would no longer be seeing Ricky as much, because again, we're only half brother and sister. We only have the same dad, and because our moms have different schedules, I wouldn't be seeing Ricky as much anymore. So it didn't happen like that at first though. We actually saw each other all the time, even after my parents' divorce, for years. I think until my brother was 16 to 17, I actually continuously saw my brother on not a regular basis, I want to say, but not often enough. I saw him twice a month kind of thing. And that's, everyone might say, wow, that's so little time, but with having divorced parents and different moms, that actually was a lot of the time. And I might be wrong. It might have been more than twice a month. It might have been a way longer than that, because I was always with my dad on the weekends. So, and Ricky would be there because he would visit our grandma, my dad's mom, because we had our cousins from my dad's siblings. So they were around Ricky's age, so Ricky would always go to my grandma's house to hang out with them, and then I would go to my grandma's house to hang out with my my cousin Adam, who was my age, and then of course I want to be around my brother Ricky. Now, the whole thing about us starting to drift off probably happened when I was around 8 or 9 years old. I started to notice that Ricky didn't really want me around, and a lot of people say that is normal, and I do agree it's normal, because obviously when he was 16 at the time, so 15 to 16, he was just kind of God, like, my little sister's such a dork. Like, you know, why do I want my little sister around me all the time? Like, I get it. I totally get it. That's totally normal. But the thing is that I didn't want it like that. You know, I wanted to be around my brother. I wanted him to read stories to me. I wanted him to play with me. I wanted him to play kickball with me, blah, blah, blah. I love spending time with him. I would do anything I could just to get him to, you know, spend time with me. And he was just refusing to spend time with me. He, you know, every time I asked him to play, he would say no. Every time I asked him to go on walks with me, he would say no. Every time I would want to spend one-on time with him, he refused. Like, he did not want to. He did not want to spend any time with me. And he would hardly want to spend time with my dad. He wanted to be around his friends from school or my cousins at my grandma's house. He hardly spent time with my dad either. And I started to, you know, feel that neglect from our relationship, and I was kind of worried about it, but I was, like, only a little, and I was like, well, things will get better when I'm older, you know. And then when I was 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, you know, I still obviously tried to be around my brother, like, all the time. And I still really made an effort in our relationship. I would make him things at school. Like, they'd give you an option, like, you can make one thing for your family member. I would always choose my brother. I would never choose my mom. I would never choose my dad. I would always choose my brother. And I would always make him these really cute little things, ornaments, notebooks, just anything I could be very creative because, you know, like, anything. And I wrote him letters, like, and yeah, he appreciated it, but it's like, I mean, yeah, he appreciated it. He always told me, you know, I love you, thank you, everything you've given me, like, I really like it, it's awesome, it's cool. But I didn't feel that connection, if that makes sense. Like, I knew he was genuinely, well, he tried to be as genuine as possible to me, but it lacked, you know what I mean? Right. You know, like, it just lacked the love in our relationship. Like, it was drifting apart, and I didn't know how to stop it. And I tried everything to stop it. You know, I tried giving him gifts, writing him letters, try to spend time with him. But again, he was still in that phase where, yeah, you're still too little. We don't really have anything in common. I want to hang out with my friends. Sucks to be you, kind of thing. And then eventually it got so bad where I never saw him on Christmas anymore. I never saw him on our dad's birthday, Father's Day. I never saw him anymore. Probably right around the time that I turned 12 to 13. And by that time, obviously, Ricky was already in his 20s. So, and again, I never saw him, and not even on holidays anymore. And I would always, like, I was still wishing him, like, a happy birthday and everything. I would call him from my phone and I would wish him a happy birthday, but he would never wish me a happy birthday. He stopped doing that, like, when I was, like, 9 or 10. So, and giving me a gift. So, when my birthday started happening after I was 12, Ricky would never call me, and he would never give me a gift. I always gave him a gift, and I always called him on his birthday, but he did not do the same for me. And it really hurt me. Like, it really, really, really hurt me. Like, it sucks, you know, when you're not wanted by your own brother, you know, or he forgets about your birthday, or things like that. And I realized that our relationship was really starting to drift apart, like really, really drift. By that point, by the time I was 11 or 12, I was only seeing my brother twice to 2 to 3 times a year. And that was like at family functions that he was forced to go to. So yeah, it had gotten that bad where I was only seeing him 2 to 3 times a year. And every time he would see me, he'd just be like, "Oh, how's life?" "Good." "How's school? You getting good grades?" "Yeah, kind of." "Oh, okay, great. Well, don't do drugs. Don't drink. Don't get a boyfriend yet. See you next time." And then I'll see him like 6 months later. That's how our conversations really went. My brother had no interest in getting to know me, and I would always try to get to know him. I'd ask him questions like, you know, what's your favorite food? Like, just anything to get to know my brother. Like, anything, even like the smallest detail. I would just want to just know something about him because I really didn't know anything about my brother. I really didn't, and he didn't know anything about me. And I was so confused on that because it's like, I'm your only sister. Yeah, we're only half siblings, but we still share blood. Like, we share the same dad. I love my dad. I think he loved my dad, you know, and then that's a different story, a relationship with my father. Ricky never had a good relationship with our dad. he would always just go to my dad when he needed something. Dad, can I have gas? Dad, can I have money for food? That's all he would go for to my dad. That's it. Whenever he was in a problem, he would go to my dad. And it would hurt me because I knew it was hurting my dad. And he would never make effort to see my dad. You know, I didn't care about, yeah, if he didn't see me, whatever, like, I was hurt, but I just wanted him to see our dad. He wouldn't even make the effort to see him. He would barely call my dad. So I was so confused on why he was trying to push me and my dad away at the same time. And talking to my mom about it, she felt like it was my dad's fault because he's the one who never pushed me and Ricky to hang out after my parents' divorce. And she said that. And the thing is that my dad always spoiled me over my brother. So it's almost like my dad preferred me. I wouldn't say, like, obviously that's true because my dad loves my brother as much as he loves me. But he just showed more affection and he spoiled me more with gifts rather than my brother, if that makes sense. So I think he was trying to give the relationship that he didn't have with Ricky to me, but he was still lacking in his relationship with Ricky. And I think that was affecting Ricky so badly where he didn't want a relationship with my dad. Therefore, he didn't want a relationship with me. So I think that's what me and my mom kind of came to the conclusion that that's what might be going on. And I got it. I figured he was going to grow out of it. And I was just like, well, he's still in that phase. Yeah, he's in his 20s, but I'm sure by the time he gets older, he's going to make room for me in his life. I always told myself that. This is just a phase. It's just because I'm too young. I'm 14, I'm 15, I'm 16. We don't have much in common. But once I hit 18 and in my early 20s, we're going to have a great relationship. I always told myself that. Like, it was going to happen. And at one point, Ricky moved in with my dad. He was in his late 20s. I was like 18 to 19 or something like that. And that's the only time within the span of 2 months Ricky and I got to know each other a lot better. So Ricky did confide to me when he lived with my dad and I would visit my dad. So obviously I would see both of them there. And I would, and Ricky would confide to me how he lacked a relationship with our dad and how he didn't trust my dad sometimes and how he found it a hard time to respect my dad. And, especially because my dad had a lot of girlfriends and he always wanted to bring his girlfriends around me and my brother. And me and my brother actually agreed that we didn't want to meet any of his girlfriends because we didn't want to put ourselves in that situation where we would have to accept a new girl every single time. Because my dad had so many girlfriends, we would lose track. And me and Ricky were just like, okay, you know what? Forget it. Like, we don't want you bringing girlfriends anymore. Like there's too many of them. And, so during those 2 months that he lived with my dad, we would talk all the time. Like, I remember at one point I made him lunch. I made him lunch one time, whatever, and he appreciated it. He's like, oh, thanks for making me lunch. And I was so proud of myself. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the change that I've been waiting for. I'm finally 18, 19. We're finally gonna have that relationship I've been dying to have. I had been so dying to have a relationship with my brother. I was lacking on having a brother in my life that I finally wanted that big older brother that I saw in the movies, that I saw my cousins have. I was so jealous of my cousins when they would be so close to their brother. Like, they were like in sync, and I didn't have that. So I thought finally that it was gonna be happening because I was older now. We could talk about more adult things in life. And we did for those 2 months. Like, we talked about like drugs, cheating, relationships. That was the most I got to know my brother, and I hardly even knew him at all. Even during that time, we didn't talk about our likes. We didn't talk about our movies. We didn't talk about our dreams. We didn't really talk about that. The most thing we talked about was our dad and how we would always fight with our dad, my dad's girlfriends. My brother confided in me that he was cheating on his girlfriend and whatever, and he confided that to me. And obviously, I'm not going to really release any names or anything. You'll never meet my brother, obviously, so that doesn't really matter. And I would give him advice about his relationships and, but he still never really asked how I was as a person. He still didn't care about my personality. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know my dreams. He didn't know my ambitions. He didn't know my likes, my dislikes. What's my favorite food? What's my favorite color? He still didn't know, like, the real stuff about me. He just knew that we had one thing in common, and that was our dad. And that we didn't get along with our dad because our dad was stubborn with his girlfriends and his jobs and stuff like that. So me and Ricky always talked about it. Ricky, at one point during that time, was calling me about once a week. But again, when he called me once a week, it was to talk about our dad and about how my dad was annoying and how Ricky was annoyed and then how I was annoyed. We wouldn't really have a genuine conversation with each other, like hardly ever. And I just thought, okay, it's going to take some time. Like, things will blow over. We'll start to get to know each other a lot better. But then, unfortunately, my brother moved out of my dad's apartment because he wanted to move in with some friends, and then his plan was to move in with his 5-year girlfriend at the time. Now it's been a lot longer than that, so they've been together. Now I'm assuming if they're together, they would be together for 8 to 9 years. But at the time, they were only together for 5 years. They had broken up for a while, and now they were back together at the time that he moved out of my dad's apartment. So his plan was to move in with some friends, and then from his friends, he was going to move in with his long-term girlfriend, who I actually had met at a wedding that we all went to when I was 19 or 20. That was the last time I saw my brother, I believe. When I was, let's see, they've been married since 2016, I believe, 16 or 15. So the last time I physically saw my brother was when I was 20 years old. That's right. I remember because I could not drink at that wedding still because I was still not 21. So I was 20. The last time I saw my brother was 20. I was 20 years old. I'm now almost 25. That was almost 5 years ago. So I haven't seen my brother in like 5 years. And he brought his girlfriend to that wedding. And he had me, he's like, oh, I forgot her name. I think it was like Marissa or Marisol or something. He's like, Marisol, this is Raquel, my sister, and I was happy to meet her. Like, I could tell she was crazy about my brother. Like, she really loved him. All good, and that's all great and everything. And but yeah, that was the last time I actually saw him. And even then, I was trying to get close to him. I was trying to get to know him, even at the wedding. And again, he didn't really have any interest. He just wanted to be with his girlfriend. And I got it, I get it. Like, you don't want to pay attention to me. You kind of want to be with your girlfriend at this wedding. I get it. I tried. My whole life, I tried to be close to Ricky. I've done everything that I've known to man that's possible to try and get to know him. And in the end, the hard work and the effort that I put into our relationship just meant nothing. Because even after he moved out of my dad's house, I thought we were going to keep that connection. I thought we were going to, he's going to keep calling me once a week. And he did for a while longer, but then it stopped. And again, he never wished me a happy birthday on my birthday. That he hadn't done that since I was 12, and he hasn't given me presents or anything. Not that it matters, but he didn't call me, but I would always text him on his birthday. And finally, I stopped like 6 years ago, stopped wishing him a happy birthday. And I remember I told my dad about it 6 years ago the last time, and I was like, hey, like, it's my birthday and Ricky didn't call me and he didn't text me. And my dad was like, don't worry, I'll tell your brother, like, I'll scold him for it. And my dad called my brother and he's like, hey, like, it's your sister's birthday yesterday, like, you didn't wish her a happy birthday, like, you need to do it. And Ricky would be like, oh, right, her birthday, sorry about that, like, I didn't mean to. And then my dad's like, okay, great. He's like, he called me back. He's like, okay. He called me like hours later. He's like, okay, great. I told Ricky a couple hours ago. I told him that he forgot he forgot your birthday. He said he was sorry. He said he was going to text you. Has he texted you? Has he called you? Nope. No. He never called me. Even then, even after my dad told him, he still didn't call me. He still didn't text me. Nothing. He didn't do it. Obviously, years have passed now. It's almost been about 5 years since I last saw Ricky, since our cousin's wedding. That's when I saw him, was at our cousin's wedding. Now, you're probably asking me, what's the moral of this story? Why are you telling us that you don't have a relationship with your brother? The reason I'm telling this, I think it's because I really wanted to get off my chest, just because I was so lonely without, I still am kind of in a way, but I was so lonely without having a brother. And I opened up to my mom about it, and I told her, I get it. Like, maybe he felt like my dad loved me more than him. And maybe that's why he didn't want a relationship with either of us for the longest time. But still, it's like, you guys have to understand something. He is 32 years old. He's going to be 33. There's no point in not wanting to have a relationship with me anymore, if that makes sense. He should be wanting to have a relationship with me. And he doesn't want to. He doesn't make effort. I always made the effort, and he never did, and that's unfortunate. Because I truly cared about my brother. I loved my brother. And he never truly showed me that he cared about me. He never truly showed me that he appreciated me for who I was, you know. Our last conversation was about a year later when I was 21 to 22. So I last talked to him was 3 years ago. So I was finally fed up, and I finally demanded to know answers why he didn't love me. Because I came to the conclusion that my brother never loved me. Maybe he did when we were kids, but he no longer loved me. That was my conclusion of the whole thing. And I remember I called him, and I was yelling at him, and I was mad at him. I was so angry at him. And I said, please, I'm like, I just need to know one thing. I have tried for years to make you love me. Why can't you love me? I'm your only sister. I'm your blood. We share the same father. Why can't you love me? Why don't you want to be in my life? And he told me that his girlfriend, I guess, has a sister or something like that. And he said, oh, well, he said to me, well, you were never a priority in my life. And the thing is that you never will be. It crushed me. Even to this day, like years later, it hurts my heart that my own brother, that my own sibling has said that to me. And I'm sorry if I'm crying, but it's just that I get so emotional remembering all this. And he said, his girlfriend has a sister, I guess, and he said, oh, well, Marisol has a sister, and I'm really close to her. She's like my sister. I do anything for her. We talk all the time, and to me, she's like a sister. I'm just closer with her. And I was just baffled. I was so baffled because he considered this stranger he had only known for 6 years, and he considered her a sister more than me. It was just awful. Awful that he said that to me. And I just told him over the phone, don't talk to me. And I just told him, please don't talk to me anymore. Not that you were already, but I told him I don't want anything to do with you in my life. Like, it's over, it's done, I'm so done. Like, I am beyond done. I told him, Ricky, I'm done. Like, you don't want me in your life, I'm not gonna be in your life, I'm not gonna try anymore. I've been trying since the day I was born to be a part of your life, and you don't want me. And it finally became clear, I never had a brother to begin with. We were never, ever truly family. We were only biologically family because of our father, but other than that, we weren't family. And I finally learned that. It took me years to realize it, but I finally did. And I told him, you're not gonna have to worry about me. I'm out of your life. It's over. I hope you have a really good relationship with our father. That's the only thing that matters to me, is if he had a good relationship with our dad. That's the only thing I actually cared about. And I told him it's over. You don't have to worry about me anymore. I'm going to go on with my life. And I'm going to surround myself with people who do want to be a part of my life. And in the end, it was over. I no longer had a brother. He's never going to be a part of my kid's life. And he's never going to be invited to my wedding. It's not happening. I told my mom, thinks I'm going to change my mind one day. She's like, you're going to change your mind one day when you get older. And I'm like, no. That's one thing I'm going to stand my ground on, because I'm only going to invite people to my wedding, obviously, who want to be a part of my life and who want to share that moment with me. Ricky has never shared any good moments with me. He never could even call me on my birthday. Why should I even invite him to the happiest day of my life? Why should I let him be in my kid's life if he didn't want to be a part of my life? What's the point of all that? For my kids to get disappointed that their uncle doesn't want to be a part of their life? I'm not putting my kids through that. It's too hard. It's too hard. About 5 years ago, I met a friend of mine. We actually live very close. He lives right behind me in our neighborhood, and we go to the same church. He's in the Navy now. He's in Asia traveling. So if he sees this, hello. I love you. His name is Matt, and he is literally like the light of my life. I was destroyed during that time. Even this was obviously before the phone call that happened 3 years ago, but Matt has been there since day one. Day one as my friend and as my brother. A lot of people were teasing me on the post that I commented on a video saying, kind of very summarizing the story, and they were just like, oh, like, he's been bro zoned, he's been friend zoned to the max. I guess that's true, but he technically friend zoned me first, so, but that's not even the point. The point is that me and Matt don't even see each other like that. We're just we've always been very morally compatible as family, as brother and sister. We've never been compatible like in a relationship, romantic type of thing. Matt has been there since the beginning, since he's been in my life, and I love him to pieces. I really do. He's in the Navy. He's traveling all the time. I heard, I only got to see him a couple months ago because, again, he's been traveling for Asia in these 8 months. And he's pretty much stepped up to the plate to be my brother. He's younger than me by a couple years, but by 3 years, so he's like my younger brother than one I never got to have. And he's going to be in my life. He's going to be invited to my wedding. He's going to be my kid's role model, like as an uncle. Like, he's going to be that figure for them. And that's never going to change. My mom loves him like a son. Like, he's been in my life for only 5 years. But the thing is that I've learned, just because you're related by blood does not automatically mean you are family. To be family, it's to be there for each other, it's to love each other. And that could be blood or without blood related. And Matt has been there since the beginning in my life, since he's been here for 5 years. And he has shown me that it doesn't matter if you're blood related. What matters is the people who have been there for you and who are continuing to be here for you. And Matt is one of those people in my life, and I'm so lucky to have him. And he is my brother. When people ask me, do you have a brother? I'm like, yes, I have a younger brother. Like, he is 21 years old. I'm 22 now, I believe. I'm sorry. I think he's 22 now. I can't even remember. I'm so sorry. See, it's been so long since I've seen him. Again, he's coming home in a couple months, so I'm really excited because he's coming back from Asia. But yeah, he just turned 21, I believe. 21 or 22. Sorry if I get it wrong. I'm so sorry if you see this. But yeah. I'm sorry if I got emotional during this video. It's just that I kind of wanted to express my story and how not having a sibling be there for you has affected me, and how it can affect for others as well. I'm lucky enough to have so many family, including someone like Matt, who still want to be a part of my life, and where, yeah, it's like my brother Ricky didn't want to be a part of my life. That's over. We're never going to speak again. But I'm still going to have other family members, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins' kids who are going to be like my nephews and nieces. And in the end, I have all that I need. I realized that. I thought I was missing something by not having my brother in my life, but the truth is I was never missing anything to begin with. I had it here the whole time. Matt has been here the whole time. And he's not going to leave like Ricky. I know he's not, because he's just too close to me and my family. It's not going to happen. And I would never let it happen too. But I just thought I would share this story and express how, sorry for the birds, I have my car window down, like the window down. But this is just a story how sometimes things in the movies that are portrayed as siblings sometimes aren't always the reality in life. There are going to be a lot of situations where siblings aren't going to be close, where siblings aren't going to talk to each other, because that's my story. And if you're lucky enough to have a brother or sister who you are close to, who you do see on a regular basis, who you can't even imagine your life without, You are so incredibly lucky. You are so incredibly lucky to have that in your life. And I bless and I hope and I pray that my kids, because I know what's going to happen. When I have kids, I'm going to make sure that they always have each other. It's always good, obviously, have friends who are like family, but, you know, I don't want them to go through what I went through with my, you know, with my life, with my biological brother. But that's it for me, guys. Sorry, this is like a 40-minute video. I did not mean it to be that long, but my video is going to get cut pretty soon, so don't forget to subscribe, like my channel, go check out my past videos, and leave a comment. Do you guys relate to this? Do you guys know know someone who relates to this? Are you incredibly lucky to have a sibling in your life? Tell me more down below, and I will see you guys next time. I will be uploading in a few more days, again, for my second video of the week. So sorry I got so emotional. I didn't mean to, but hope you guys have a good one. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so happy that I got to open up to you guys. Have a good one, guys. Bye!
Sometimes it feels like